I think we as One Piece fans can come to a consensus here that episode 957 that dropped recently is probably one of the best episodes of One Piece ever. In terms of just sheer animation quality, in terms of pacing, in terms of overall directing, this episode was a fantastic episode through and through. That should be a One Piece fan consensus. This episode was outstanding. And with it comes an extraordinary amount of story progression. When we leave Wano Country and we see what's going on outside the world, there tends to be a tremendous amount of story progression. And in episode 957 and the corresponding chapter 956, these moments were phenomenal across the board. The abolishment of the Shichibukai system, Sabo's in trouble, what's going on there, and all the while Luffy Company still about to engage in war against Kaido and Big Mom. Kinda crazy. But before we go on with the topic at hand, I do want to give big ups to Toei Animation, to a lot of the animators that animated these phenomenal scenes in the episode itself, and of course to Megumi Ishitani, who directed episode 957. The big thing here, of course, was the abolishment of the warlord system. And what we see now are the Marines engaging with all the current Shichibukai. Buggy, I don't care about, because Buggy, he has like massive plot armor, comic relief in One Piece, so that's comic relief squared, and we'll see him again one day, absolutely. Mihawk, the Count Dracula sword overlord of One Piece, by himself against essentially a Buster Call. Mihawk's ready. His blood is boiling. The fabled Guardhawk is gonna swoop down and take care of some Marines. Though, to be fair, it depends who's there, right? Because if it's, let's say, for example, Vice Admirals, a lot of them. So, for example, Strawberry, Dalmatian, Doberman, Bastille. Okay. Those Vice Admirals working together against Mihawk plus Marine soldiers, that will give the Guardhawk, I think, some challenge. I think so. Though, to be fair, Mihawk, in theory, could lead the human mandrills, I think, the baboons, into combat? Maybe? That'd be kind of weird. A Count Dracula giant sword French guy leading baboons in a combat. I mean, it's One Piece, so why not? I guess so. If there's an admiral there, though, like a Fujitora or a Green Bull, because Fujitora is going somewhere, we have no idea where exactly, a Kizaru, this is going to be hard, Mihawk. So Mihawk will either handle these guys and or escape, okay? Let's put it like that. But overall, he won't be in trouble. Next time we see Mihawk, he's off the island. What if, let's say, Mihawk is covered in some bandages and that's really it? Okay, fine, not a big deal. Now, Weevil is also kind of like weird there because we don't know much about Weevil, so where he goes, I'm not too sure, but he should be involved in somewhere with Marco, with, let's say, Josu, like other former Whitebeard pirates, and then potentially Luffy as well. So I don't necessarily care about Weevil, but he will be fine, ultimately speaking. And then finally at Boa Hancock, the main topic of this video. Boa Hancock and Amazon Lily versus the Marines. Kind of like a Whitebeard and Whitebeard pirates against Marines in the Marineford War, but I guess on a smaller scale here. But they are coming in hot against her whole country. That's a full-scale war. And when Kobe says in the episode that it, quote-unquote it, is too much to handle, even with all the Navy soldiers in the world, this could be specifically for the Shichibukai and the Shichibukai alone, or it could refer to, let's say, for example, Blackbeard. Because, meaning in the sense of, Blackbeard knows that the Marines are going for something, a particular it, and he's trying to beat them to that it. So what exactly that it is, we don't know, of course, but the Marines got their sights on more things other than just the Shichibukai. So that being said, though, I don't think that the Marines that we see going to Amazon Lily are the only ones. I feel like there's going to be more Marines coming later on, because again, with Amazon Lily, it is a full-scale war, as far as I can see. So Fujitora or Green Bull Kizaru could potentially be arrived to Amazon Lily at some point in the future, which would be pretty intense. Boa Hancock against an admiral, maybe. That could be an actual coming fight. Would it be on screen?
Don't ask me.
In the manga, probably not. In the anime, though, maybe. Because in the manga, there's a lot of off-screening, whereas in the anime, a lot less so. Which Toei Animation, thank you for that, for real, thank you. But because all the female fighters there know hockey, and it's located in the Con Belt, the Marines may feel more obligated to take down Amazon Lily, in particular because it's seen as like a pirate stronghold. Now it is, at least. Now it's a pirate stronghold, so it has to be shut down immediately. And the first one that we know of that's going there among the Marines is our good old boy, Kobe. Kobe versus Boa. Oh man, oh my goodness. So this is where things kind of get a little bit crazy, right? The only metric we can really use to gauge this possible fight is One Piece Stampede. Looking at certain moments where we see Boa and Kobe fight. Boa was actually pretty impressive. No real damage to Douglas Bullet in his giant metal CG form, but because of that one kick, the Perfume Femora Magna, I think it's called, she did force Douglas Bullet to reform a bit. And that gave Law and Crocodile an opening that they needed to actually do their deed. And in the movie, Kobe was alright. And mind you, the movie's not canon. It's not canon at all. Meaning that their feats, per se, in the movie may not be canon feats, but you can argue that because these characters are so vague in terms of like how powerful they are, you can argue that what they do inside the film is within the scope of expectation for what they can do in the actual canon material itself. So Kobe was alright, using all the Rokushiki stuff as is, fair enough, fine. But in the actual canon series, his rank did go up from a captain to a rear admiral. And it's not in episode 957, but it is in chapter 956, the corresponding chapter to the episode. He's a Navy headquarters rear admiral, which right now is Hina's current rank. So Kobe is maybe just as strong as a vice admiral, because he's now ranked up to the rank underneath vice admiral, rear admiral, which may not necessarily mean much, I ain't gonna front, because the vice admiral rank is not really a good way of gauging power, I would argue, because it fluctuates wildly as to how powerful people are in the vice admiral rank, probably even more so than any other Marine rank, I ain't gonna front. So for example, you have guys like Virgo or guys like Smoker that are actually pretty damn powerful, and then you have guys like Maynard, who is complete and utter trash.
You're trash, bro.
Got coasted off screen by Bartolomeo. Man, yo, get out of here, dude. Like, when you look at the Dressrosa arc itself, Bastille was more impressive than Maynard. And Maynard's a vice admiral. The vice admiral rank fluctuates way too wildly. Way too wildly. But I think it's safe to say that he's probably stronger than Maynard, right? Yo, Maynard is trash, boys. Yo, Maynard is straight doo-doo. But on that note, we can also maybe try and use the Rocky Port incident to gauge Kobe's power, but it's hard. So essentially, it all depends, honestly, on where you see Kobe in the future series. Is Kobe's Luffy's Marine rival? Which, honest to God, at this point in time, you can't really say that there's actually a Marine rival to Luffy. Smoker was, in a sense, but now really no longer. And Kobe does not fit that role at all, I'll argue. I see Kobe being more so of a dude where, let's say, come the end of the series, like let's say a end of series, or even like, let's say a sequel, Smoker, future Fleet Admiral, Kobe, future Admiral, and they lead the good Marines against bad, evil pirates. Stuff like that. That's how I see Kobe, personally. So which means that in a one-on-one fight, I highly lead on Boa Hancock's favor. I am highly in favor. I am betting money, a substantial amount of money, like $500. I will bet $500 that Bo wins in that fight, one-on-one. And then maybe 100 on Kobe to be on the safe side, you know? Yeah. But keep in mind, though, that both Kobe and Boa like Luffy a lot, okay? Kobe likes Luffy, Boa loves Luffy. So there's a very good chance that there won't even be a fight between those two at all. Because, hey, oh, we both love Luffy, fist bump, yeah, Luffy's really cool, right? Oh yeah, he's super duper cool. So let's say that Boa and Kobe, they clash, right? And then let's say Kobe has a newspaper article about Luffy, like in his back pocket or something like that, and then it slips. And then Boa sees that, and then she's like, wait, hold on, Luffy? You? And Kobe's like, yeah, you know, like, I'm a big fan. She's like, really, you're a big fan of Luffy? Luffy's my beloved. And then they just go on from there. So yeah, that could be a thing there. However, if it's gonna be more serious, and Kobe and Boa, they're not like buddy-buddy, what if, instead of fighting against Boa, Kobe fights against Thunder Sonia or Mary Gold and defeats them, or one of them, in single combat?
Maybe.
Now, this idea comes from my boy Mugiwara Matt B, aka Bensei Sama on YouTube. I think it's a very, very dope idea because I like the idea of what could happen afterwards. This is the key here. Because let's say that Boa Hancock and company, they win against the Marines, then I don't see much happening. However, if they do lose against the Marines, I can see the mark of the Tenryubito. If the Marines find out that Boa and her sisters have the mark, the slave mark on their backs, then they would, by law, I think, be obligated to take whoever's captured, either Thunder Sonia, Mary Gold, maybe both, maybe all three, right, to the Holy Land. Oh, and who is also having problems in the Holy Land? Sabo. Sabo and the Revolutionary Army, which made dragons sweat a lot. So much sweat, the man could fill the freaking lake. And the last time we saw Sabo in particular, we saw he was very upset about Kuma's situation. And we know that Bonnie was there as well. So he fought against, him, Limber, Karasu, Mole fought against two admirals. And we know that one admiral, Fujitora, got a bit beaten up. So, oh man, what if after Wano Country, Thunder Sonia gets captured by the Marines, and then Mary Gold and Boa Hancock now have to go and save their sister in the Holy Land. The Revolutionary Army are also making their move as well. They're making their move as well, and they're gonna probably see what's up with Sabo. Like, is that actually true or now happened in the papers? And then after Wano Country, Luffy will find out the news about Sabo without question. Well, either, okay, after Wano Country or the arc after Wano Country, it depends, right? After Wano Country, I would like Elbaf. Yes. Could be the arc after, it could be the two arcs after, whatever. But at some point, Luffy's gonna find out what happened to Sabo. It could be the case where, because of the situation, Luffy's interests line up with Boa Hancock's as well as Dragon's. And then they make a play on the Holy Land itself.
That's right.
This could be a very spicy situation.
A little bit spicy.
So it all depends really on how this fight proceeds with Boa Hancock and the Navy. Because they're very strong and they could just flat out win. And if they flat out win, okay, fine. That's it. But the interest comes in if they lose. That's where the real interest comes. If Kobe, let's say, does defeat Boa Hancock, and then she's captured, and then they find out the truth about her being a former slave and her sisters, and then now, or yeah, it could be flipped, where it's Boa Hancock who's captured, and then her sisters need assistance on actually seeing Boa Hancock, because now she's going back to the Holy Land, because she's a slave of the Tenryubito. The things could massively play out in future arcs, absolutely. And then this is where I think the Grand Fleet will come into play wholesale, because two of their members, Sai and Leo, they were in the Holy Land, and this would give them some nice intel if there was an attempt made on the Holy Land. The narration said that there's going to be a major event going down where Luffy's Grand Fleet is directly involved, meaning that in my mind, Luffy and his forces are going to do something that is going to shake the world big time. And if it's not in Wano Country, and probably not Elbaf, I'd argue, that it could be there in the Holy Land. And then finally, there is an image of the Holy Land on fire, and it was like years back, and it was, I think, for some sort of video game special thing, but that could be coming to fruition in actual canon manga as a future arc, where the whole land is on fire because of Luffy, Boa Hancock, or Amazon Lily, and the Revolutionary Army. It would be a world-shaking event, and Boa Hancock could play a role in that, absolutely. Absolutely. So on that note, Let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. Boa Hancock and Amazon Lily versus the Marines could be a very big thing for the future of the series, but probably only if they lose. And that's the key thing here, because that could coincide very nicely with Luffy in the future of the series. So on that note, let me know what your stance is on the subject matter at hand in the comment section down below. I'm gonna see y'all later. Take care, be safe, and have a nice one.